So I'm not calling them out and like, I'm not negatively talking about them per se. I want to talk about just like this idea as a whole, how we love to hate on them, but we also love them at the same time.
I don't know. Yeah. And I don't know if the word hate is like,
we like to hate on them, not hate them.
Yeah.
But we like to...
Yeah. Kind of diss them a little bit.
Right. Or like roll our eyes.
Scoff at them.
Yes. That's because we think of when you say celebrity pastor or speaker, somebody's coming into your mind. And it could often be somebody who maybe you've had a bad experience with or somebody who's actually fallen. I'm going to get real. I'm going to get more real than our notes talked about because I just want to. What's up, everybody? It's Kait
and JJ.
And we're doing a bonus episode today
on
what do we really think about Christian celebrities? Now, this is a bonus for our Patreon community. And so if you're listening right now and you're not a part of that Patreon community, you can only probably hear a clip of this. And if you want to hear the rest, you got to join us over on Patreon, which is really easy to do. You can listen to the whole episode. We do bonus episodes every month. All you got to do is support us here with the show for $5 a month. You go to patreon.com/Heart of Dating. And we have so much fun with our Patreon community. We actually have a hangout night happening tomorrow on the 19th. We're recording this, or this is going live on the 18th. So we're excited. We love our Patreon community, right, babe?
No, we're so grateful. We love our patrons. They're called patrons, right?
Yeah, patrons.
We love our patrons.
We love our patrons.
But today's going to be fun because I think this kind of goes on and it's not necessarily talked about. Like everyone has maybe a closet opinion. When's the last time you saw a pastor or any kind of significant figure? Not to say that we're significant figures, to clarify, but any kind of platform talk about Christian celebrities in general.
True. So, there's a lot to say today. So we're going to try to say as much as we can because I got lots of thoughts. I think JJ has lots of thoughts. But these exclusive Patreon episodes, we're kind of just going to be real and raw and talk about things that we never really would talk about on our main Heart of Dating show. I want to start by saying that fame, the idea of fame has always been around in time. Like think of Julius Caesar. Okay. He had a lot of fame, but the idea of celebrity, hello, Teddy. The idea of celebrity is a newer phenomenon. Like Julius Caesar was maybe famous, but he wasn't a celebrity. So this idea of celebrity is newer and kind of like started more so with Hollywood and TV.
Well, what's the difference between a famous person and a celebrity?
Celebrityism is kind of where you kind of feel like you know them. You feel like you're in their worlds, even though they don't really know you at all.
Right. So like everyone knew of
and
Julius
that's because
Caesar.
Of social media. Yeah, everyone knew of him.
But you didn't know details of his personal life.
Right.
You didn't feel like you were involved.
There's no paparazzi.
You didn't necessarily care about.
There's no headline.
Right, what he was doing.
Right. There's no headline of Julius Caesar sleeps with this person and it's a big scandal. Like that's not really a thing. So celebrityism is really like they're famous and you kind of feel like you know about them or you know them even though you don't know them.
And it's kind of like you care way more about their personal life than you should, like any other stranger on the earth.
Yeah. And we have to be honest that some people in our cultural moment of TikTok and Instagram, some people bring about celebrityism onto themselves because we're in this cultural moment of everyone is vulnerable, everyone is transparent, and like that is what leads people to becoming famous. And you sometimes see, unfortunately, like some people, they bring it upon themselves by also kind of putting things out there that may not even be real because they know that being ultra transparent or being vulnerable will maybe make them famous.
Okay, so who would be a good example of that? Because you're basically saying they are marketing their personal life in details.
Right.
In order, that is like what they're writing versus like Tom Brady. he's not a celebrity because of that. He's a celebrity because he was
Right.
an amazing
What
quarterback.
I'm just saying in general is that we have a lot of that even on Instagram going on because of TikTok and social media.
Okay.
Like, and it's like you look for strangers to validate who you are. I'm sharing this vulnerable thing. It may be true, it may not be true because I want to get famous and I want to feel validated for who I am. And sometimes you're getting famous off of things that aren't even true. Like you're kind of manufacturing stories because you think this will be like hot news. And
Is there
it's
anyone
not
that
even
comes to
real.
mind?
I mean, this is like TikTok and social media. I feel like I see this all the time. I can be I want to talk about like specific celebrity pastors and then celebrities in Hollywood. So we'll continue forward.
Okay.
But I'm not thinking of like a specific person on social media
Okay.
that does that right now. I just think it happens a lot.
Okay.
I also want to make the point, babe, that like being famous isn't a natural thing. Like we weren't designed to be famous at all. That's not like the way God designed for us to be. God designed for him to be famous, not necessarily for us to be famous. And, you know, people will treat you like a celebrity and feel like they know you, almost praise you, worship the ground you walk on. And we were not built to be praised and worshiped like God was built to be praised and worshiped. It's not a very natural thing. And that's why you see like so many, for example, like Hollywood celebrities that have really hard times or have struggles with suicide, which breaks my heart. They have mental health stuff, like because nobody is built to be constantly followed by paparazzi, to have all these things said about them, to have so much hate said to them. Like none of us are built to withstand that kind of attention, to be honest, or that kind of worship.
I mean, it does go to Genesis. We are image bearers, meant to be reflectors of glory, not to be sponges of glory, right? And that will break us, in that sense. So totally, I think, but it is kind of interesting. This idea of the celebrity age that we live in, which, there's like a fun, exciting side to it. But the reality is that there's celebrities who identify as Christian, and then another kind of, this has been super, super interesting to see, Christian speakers and pastors who have been really, really successful and garnered massive audiences.
Right. So as I was thinking about this, I broke it down to 2 different kinds of celebrity pastors / speakers. Because there's a difference, by the way, between a celebrity pastor versus a speaker. I'll give an example. A celebrity pastor might be TD Jakes, who actually like pastors a community, versus a celebrity speaker might be Christine Kane, who is very well known in the Christian world, but she doesn't pastor a church.
Right.
She speaks
She's a speaker
independently across the world at different churches. So anyway, there's just a quick distinction there, but between the category of celebrity pastors / speakers, I think there are 2 different kinds. You can tell me if you agree with me.
Okay.
I think there's one that are people who are connected to celebrities and have as a result kind of become celebrities themselves. Let me name drop. You ready?
Yeah.
Carl Lentz, Judah Smith, Rich Wilkerson, Chad Veach, all the people that roll with Justin Bieber in essence.
Okay.
Or the Kardashians, like the people that roll with the Kardashians. I mean, Rich Wilkerson literally married the Kardashian, like Kim and Kanye, I believe. And then, Carl and Judah were like really big in
Rich Wilkerson
Justin
Jr.
Oh, sorry, Rich Wilkerson Jr.
Not
Sorry. Yeah. But and then like maybe even Robert Madu, he kind of rolls with those people too. And so those would be more of like people that have become celebrities. Like I know that at one of Justin Bieber's concerts, Judah was there, featured at one of his concerts.
Yeah.
And like, didn't he have like
Judah's actually become close with Lana Del Rey as well.
Oh, interesting.
Lately. And then you're saying the second is this a celebrity speaker?
This is celebrity pastor / speaker. The second bucket I would say are people who have gotten famous because of their teachings and their books. Less because like the first category, like they kind of maybe were getting a little popular because of their teachings, but they got really popular, really famous because of their connection to celebrities. The second kind of people have gotten more famous because of their teachings and books. I'm going to name drop TD Jakes, Joel Osteen, Beth Moore, shout out, love her, Joyce Meyer, Stephen Furtick, Christine Kane, my girl, Ravi Zacharias, Tim Keller, Jackie Hill Perry, like tons of people that like we in the Christian world almost probably, if you don't know who those people are, you're probably a little bit sleeping under a rock,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Because those are like really big, famous names, well-known names in the Christian world. But Beth Moore did not get famous because she's friends with Justin Bieber. Beth Moore got like famous because of her Bible studies and her teachings over the many, many, many years.
Okay, that's an interesting take and clarification.
I think there's like obviously people like Carl Lentz, Judah Smith. They have rose in popularity and celebrityism because of their books and teachings. Like they're already really good teachers, but I think what really put them on the map was their connection and their pastoring of celebrities because they're in cities like Miami, because LA with Judah Smith, because of New York with Carl Lentz, Chad Veach in LA as well. And like because they have access to so many celebrities in those biggest cities in America, they have been platformed on big people's platforms, like Hollywood celebrities' platforms.
Well, okay. One thing, Beth Moore has had decades to build her quote legacy and platform. Some of these pastors, those quote celebrity pastors, because they're friends with celebrities, they're younger. They haven't had that amount of time and they haven't been around as long to build maybe that legacy strictly based off teaching. You could argue because they were, hanging out with a celebrity that their platform was maybe accelerated.
Right.
But, Jackie Hill Perry, she's a great example. She hasn't been around that long.
Right. Not as long as Beth Moore.
Right. And she's also, and here is a big thing though. I will say this. We really need to be clear on, is this person a pastor, like a shepherd pastor?
Right.
Or are they a speaker?
Right. Like I was saying, there is a difference.
Tim Ross, people don't realize he was a pastor shepherd for I think 20 years.
Right.
And has just now recently in the past 2 years blown up because now he is more of a speaker.
Right.
An independent
I forgot
author
putting
and
Mike
speaker.
Todd on this list. Of course, Mike Todd.
And Mike Todd. So there is I think you have to be really careful with how maybe you quote label or view someone because a pastor and shepherd is different from a speaker, author.
Yes.
And it's hard to do both.
But why is it bad to call either a celebrity?
Well, it's not bad.
Right. So that's kind of the point. What we're
I'm not saying,
about.
but I think it helps address your expectations.
Yeah, it does. It does. Absolutely. So I want to continue on because I totally agree with you. There's a paradox that happens here, though, when we talk about quote unquote celebrity pastors / speakers. And it's kind of either one.
Right. And when we say celebrity, could you also, I'm curious, could you also just say a very, very popular pastor or speaker who has a massive audience?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
so
what I'm talking
just
about.
to clarify,
Who's very,
it's
very, very
extremely
well-known.
popular with a massive audience is what we mean by celebrity pastor or speaker or author.
Yeah, 1,000%. So here's the paradox. No one likes celebrity pastors and speakers, yet everyone has a favorite celebrity pastor and speaker.
It is kind of ironic.
They're like, oh, celebrity pastors. And they like put a label on what they think that person is. Maybe you're thinking of Carl Lentz from Hillsong or maybe you're thinking of Ravi Zacharias. You immediately go to these people who gained a lot of fame and then fell. And yet you probably love Beth Moore or you love Tim Keller. Okay. And I love Beth Moore and Tim Keller. Okay. But there's a paradox here because we're like, oh, celebrity pastors, speakers. And yet, oh, but I love this person. So there's a big paradox here that I think needs to be talked about because we like to hate on them. But can I go somewhere else? Because I think I'm really passionate about this.
I can tell.
Okay.
You're also in LA for 6 years. So
8 years, babe.
8 years. So you were very, very close to the front line.
And before that, I was in New York City.
Right. So you've been front lines of popular mainstream pastors and teachers and speakers for a decade now.
Right. And a lot of these people I just mentioned, I know. I now personally know. So I'm not calling them out and I'm not negatively talking about them per se. I want to talk about just this idea as a whole, how we love to hate on them, but we also love them at the same time.
I don't know if the word hate is
we like to hate on them, not hate them.
Yeah.
But we like to...
Yeah. Kind of diss them a little bit.
Right. Or roll our eyes.
Scoff at them.
Yes. That's because we think of when you say celebrity pastor or speaker, somebody's coming into your mind. And it could often be somebody who maybe you've had a bad experience with, or somebody who's actually fallen. But then at the same time, here you are listening to Stephen Furtick, or here you are loving Jackie Hill Perry. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just like, it's interesting that we do that. Now, here's a point I want to make. Okay. I'm going to get real. I'm going to get more real than our notes talked about, because I just want to.
Okay, go for it.
So, okay, here's the thing. Like, Mark Driscoll, Rise and Fall of Mars Hill. If you've not listened to this podcast, very, very popular podcast. It's like constantly in the top podcasts on Apple Podcasts.
Wait, really?
And it's been around for like multiple years now. It's always in the top. I think people, no matter if they're Christian or not, find it fascinating. Excuse me, Teddy. And so I also experienced this firsthand at Hillsong, New York City. Okay, not many people know I went to Hillsong in New York City. I personally got to know Carl Lentz. And I'm not going to talk about all of these details here, because there's a lot of details that I am not going to share at this time, maybe on another bonus episode. But here's what I'll say about the years I was at Hillsong in New York City when Carl Lentz was like rising in popularity. All right, family, that is all we have for you for today's episode. If you want to hear the full episode, though, you can join our Patreon community for as low as $5 a month. You can visit patreon.com/Heart of Dating. It would mean a lot, because if you support us on Patreon, it just supports what we get to do here on the podcast, so we can continue to bring you more and more content and more video content and all sorts of things. So if you'd be willing to do so, that would mean a lot to us. Again, you can join for as low as $5 a month. And then at some of the other tiers, you get to do some awesome bonus things, such as ask us questions to be featured on the podcast. We also have an exclusive Zoom hangout that we do for everyone on our tier 3. So we do a lot of fun things in Patreon. We have some fun, hot, spicy discussions in there. So we'd love to have y'all. All right, guys, see you next time.